What's up, Blanco fans? I'm Jasmine, and this is just my first episode of my newest sandbox park. I'm calling this Wild Dominion, and basically, I want this park to be somewhat inspired by Animal Kingdom and Busch Gardens. I forget which one is like the sort of African sort of theme. Um, Even though, there aren't a lot of like animals in Planet Coaster, I just think this is a really cool theme. I'm trying something totally different, and um, I really am just working on really like stepping up my just my Planet Coaster skills in general, in like every single aspect. I feel like that's everyone when they're starting a new park, but um, as you can see, uh, I'm starting off with a parking lot, and I'm still not done with this little building, but I found uh, a little like building like this on the Frontier Workshop, and I used it as inspiration for this little building. It's not exactly the same, um, but I really liked that they had like multiple lanes. There were some little signs like this saying, what each lane represented, and so I thought I would do something like that. And then I also have like the little Ghostbusters thing to sort of kind of swipe in if have a VIP pass or something like that. You don't have to wait at the window. And this is just my little ticket window. Um, and I think these sort of ticket gate things are like a traffic pole or something like that in the game. So I messed up my arrows here. I have to figure that out. But but essentially everything is going to be one lane. Everybody's coming in from here, which this is the first time I've actually used like something like this to represent like the outside of the park. So then they're all gonna like go here. They're gonna turn, and then this is going to lead to the parking. This parking lot also was based off of something from the workshop. I can't remember where I downloaded it from or like, who the original creator was, but I basically had to redo this entire thing because the Frontier Workshop item, the actual lines were too short for for like the cars. So anyway, this is the parking lot. The Frontier Workshop download also did not include lights, so I added these lights. It did have like some sort of planters like this. I just replaced them with some plants that I am including in my park, since this is kind of, I guess I didn't add something there. Since this is kind of this is a grassland environment. So I'm trying to not use too much deciduous stuff. I'm using a lot of palm trees, the tropical plants. I'm trying to stay away from like the big oak trees and like the sycamore trees. So then over here, this is the actual spawn point, and I just covered it up. I put the actual ticket gate right there because I just can't stand these things. They're just so awkward. So I just did not want to see that in my park at all. And I made this hotel, which I'm super proud of. I just love it. And so if you can't already tell, orange, brown, beige. Those are kind of the colors for the park that you're going to see a lot in this park. And this is probably going to be the only modern building, or I mean, I don't want to say only modern building, but this building might be the most modern of the buildings that I will have in the park. But I figured a lot of hotels nowadays, they look like this. They look really modern looking, and they're kind of boxy. And so anyway, I really love how this turned out. I also kind of wanted to add a little bit of detail on the windows because it just looks so boring. So these are columns, very skinny columns, and I just moved them around so that they're vertical and they're horizontal right here. And then the guests actually can walk in this way, and then this is the hotel lobby somewhere in there. I guess I could add another set of doors here. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I know these like cypress trees don't really go with the grassland map, but I just thought they looked so cool. I had to frame them for the hotel. Okay, so now we're gonna walk along here. This is like the sort of big walk you would have from the hotel to the actual park. And I just put some benches on this side. The reasoning is because my path actually does not extend to this side here. So the benches had to be here, which I'm totally fine with. I actually think it looks really clean like that, having the benches on one side. These lights are the spooky lights, or spooky lampposts, with a column. I forget what this column is called, but it looks very African to me, and I just love it. And then Michael helped me with this fencing. Michael's really good at making like multi-layered fencing, so he helped me with this, and I think it looks really good. It really matches with the sort of theme that I'm going for. And then I'm just going, I haven't put them in yet, but I'm going to put like some little planters at the bottom of these trees so that it looks like they're in a planter. And then these are like my fake ticket windows. I do plan on putting some sort of barriers like you would see at a theme park. They have like those little barriers while you're standing in line for the tickets. And I want to put some sort of signage here with the name Wild Dominion on it, but I couldn't find anything that looked good to me. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but I definitely need something there. So we're just going to kind of walk through here. And this gate here is like what would be closing the park. It's a little low, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I could move it up a tad bit. And then this is where the turnstiles are. This isn't like my favorite placement, but I like that they're covered and they're underneath this little entrance here. I just think that's normally where you see the turnstiles. So I'm keeping them there for now. These turnstiles were a creation from Michael on the workshop. I just adjusted them a little bit and colored them the way I wanted them. And then I made sort of a little kind of open air, little bit of an open air sort of sitting area on both sides of this little entry. So people can sit right there if they're already tired from the walk. And the reason the reason that this is so low here, this sort of ceiling, is because of these pieces here. These are actually arch pieces or wall pieces, and I couldn't figure out a way to raise them up while also keeping the arch that I really want. And it does look a little low, but I think it works. And it also worked really hard on, excuse me, also worked really hard on this sort of pergola, I guess you would say, right here for the like these the wooden part of the of the roof. And that's so many pieces by itself. I just was like, okay, fine, this is fine. And then, you're in this little tunnel and then you're in the park. I'm so happy with how this plaza is turning out. Of course, I have to have a little fountain. I almost always have a carousel, a Ferris wheel, or a chair swing right in the middle of the park as you walk in. I think that's like one of my signatures, is just having some sort of classic ride right smack dab in the middle. So I guess you could say that this building is modern. I feel like it's somewhat modern, but it's just kind of a box. The lettering is also from the workshop. Almost all of any lettering that I have in my park is going to be from the workshop because I'm just not good at making letters. So we're going to go through here, and I have just kind of a couple shops in here. My janitor keeps getting stuck right there. But then people will sit down. I don't know what the deal is, but I guess I'm just gonna have to. Let me just move him. Maybe it always gets stuck right there, so maybe if I get rid of that one, it'll be okay. And I made these little bar stools out of basic shapes. So I'm really happy with how this looks. I think, and I don't think anyone actually sits over here. I haven't seen anyone sit on this side. They always seem to go over here if they're gonna sit down. But okay. Now we're exiting out of there. I made this sort of as like a catch-all building. So originally these were going to have information. I really wish on this information shops that you could sell other things, because I don't think in this park that I'm going to have like a VIP fast lane, just in an attempt to try to conserve as much of the counter as possible. But I guess I could just replace this with shops. But this building is supposed to represent like a guest services building. On this side, there's restrooms on both sides. And then around here, we have the locker rental. This is actually an ATM, but it looks like I put a computer there to try to make it seem like they're actually ordering something from the locker or buying a locker. This is the staff building on this side. And then this is my little security office. I need to fix my little pass here. But I thought a security office really needed to be represented in the park. And then I looked up flags, like, at least in America. I don't know what it's like in the UK, but in America, this sort of bright yellow represents security. So you know how like green represents army, blue represents police, navy represents the navy, I guess. There's actually security is yellow, or bright yellow. So I put the flag here. It's a little flag, but the intention was, if you didn't know where the security office was, you could see that little flag and be like, okay, that's the security office. So you know where to walk to if you need help. And then I'm super happy. This is the first coaster in the park. And I'm so happy. I'm calling it the Barbarian. I'm not crazy about the name, but I like it. It goes along with my wild sort of theme, but this coaster is actually a pretty tame coaster. But I feel like the name, the Barbarian, is kind of a threatening or intimidating name, but the coaster's actually pretty tame. But anyway, this station I am so proud of because I made this entire thing custom. Honestly, I don't even really understand what I was going for. I think I was wanting it to be like very wooden, have a lot of wood, but also I wanted it to be open air. And I just started on a pattern. I kept repeating it, and then I actually had put some wall pieces inside that were kind of yellowy, but it was like blinding once you were under, like if you were under here looking up, it was too yellow. So I ended up taking the wall pieces out after I'd already built this pattern. It took a long time to do. And then I just kept adding posts and trying to add supports to make it look like it would actually be supported. And so this is the end result. I just think it looks really cool. Like, it's sort of African, it's sort of rustic, and I love the colors. So anyway, I just had to brag about that for a little bit. And then back here we have some seating. So after you get off the coaster, or maybe you're just waiting for somebody, a family member, to get off the coaster, you can wait back here, wait for them. And then I put this chain link fence just so nobody walks behind and tries to climb the fence to mess with the coaster. I do have these little pieces here because they kind of have to be there because the wall pieces are actually a little bit too high off the ground, but I don't think that looks bad right there. Anyway, moving right along. This is the carousel. That's the carousel queue. This is sort of the little half covering for that. And then this is the sundial. Now this design here, this is based off of Nerd Chacho's design. His design was not raised like this. I raised it up. I can't remember why I raised it up. To be honest with you, I don't remember why I ended up raising this entire thing up, but it looks really cool. And Nerd Chacho had something like this on one side with plants, and then he didn't have his queue like this. It was more like almost like a cattle pen sort of, I think. But once I raised up the platform, I thought, okay, we can have this side be plants, and then this side is the queue. And I really like how it turned out. I think it looks really good. I put like this sort of covering here just to have some sort of shade for the guests while they're standing in line, which right now it doesn't look like there's much shade. But if you do like that, there's some shade for them there. And then, I guess I could, yeah, I guess that does need a chain link fence on this side. They could totally fall off the platform right there. But I put these chain link fences, or this isn't chain link fence, this is a tall fence. I doubled that up because it's kind of a drop if you were to like fall off this platform. So anyway, that's that. But yeah, that's what I have so far in this park. I'm super excited. I think that this might be like the best thing I've done in a long time. I'm working really hard on trying to make everything custom as much as possible. I'm trying to just make sure that there's a lot of detail on the park. I want every ride to be amazing, every queue to be amazing. Um, I love this little covering here. People can wait for their family members if they're on. The only thing is, like, this part here is a little bit awkward because there's like a window and then there's like a fence. I don't know. I don't know about that. I guess the fence doesn't have to be doubled up on this part. I could just make this one. Maybe I'll do that. If I take this off, and then that doesn't look as bad. But over here, I feel like it has to be doubled up because this is where people are walking. But I guess that's not terrible. We could leave it like that for design purposes. Okay. But yeah, so that's it, I think. I think that's it. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. Let me know if you have any thoughts. If you have any suggestions on anything. If there's something that you really want in the park, like a certain roller coaster type, I can try to fit it in. I think I want this to be, this is kind of like a beginner coaster. And then I do want to put in excuse me, a wooden RMC. Did I say that right? A wooden coaster that goes upside down. I think that's an RMC, right? Hopefully that's correct. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done talking. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and I really appreciate your support. If you don't mind liking this video, subscribing to our channel, we really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.